All right, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about multiplying binomials using tiles. So I want you first, before we actually get started, to make sure you complete the whole front side of the sheet and then the back half. And then as soon as you're done with that, it says where to tune into the video. So then you should come back here to make sure your answers are correct. All right, so here are the answers to the top review part. And here are the answers to 1 through 5. Stop the video, check them. And here are the answers for 6 and 7. And then here are the answers to the first two times tables, 8 and 9 on the back. Be sure to stop the video so you can actually check the answers. And here's the answers to the last times table. So in this one, you're actually distributing. So you're doing a monomial times a binomial. So you're taking this thing and you're multiplying it by all the terms. So x gets multiplied by that, x gets multiplied by that, and so on. So like when you get this, you're multiplying 2x squared by both terms. That's how you get those. All right, be sure to stop the video and ask if you're having trouble with any of these, because it's going to make the rest of the stuff tricky if you don't understand the times tables. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on the problems that you haven't been shown yet. So we're going to try a few like we did with number 10, just using tiles. So if you want to get some tiles and actually do this on your desk, you're welcome to, but we're just going to go ahead and just draw it today. So if you look at this thing right here is called a product mat. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the first term up here and the second term off to the side. So since the first term is x, I'm going to draw an x tile right along here. And then since the second term is x plus 2 along the side, I'm going to put an x tile and two 1's tiles. Now, when I do that, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create boundaries. So along the bottom, I'm going to draw a line, and onto the side, I'm going to draw another line. So I'm going to create a rectangle here. And so what this space is this space is my boundary of where my answer is, what x times x plus 2 is. Now you already know the answer to this is x squared plus 2x, but I'm going to show you how to do it with tiles. So now that you have your boundary, we're then going to draw lines in between where every tile goes. So I'm going to have a line right here and a line right here. And so now we're going to use this like it's a times table, right? So like if I'm going to fill in this box, well, this box is me doing x times x. Well, x times x is an x squared, and if you look, an x squared tile will fit in here perfectly. So I'm going to draw an x squared tile in there. Now the next one, this right here is me doing x times 1. Well, x times 1 is x, and if you look, a rectangle will fit right in there, just like this. And then here, I have another one, x times 1. Right here is going to be another x tile. And so when you do that, what's left here, this is your product. So the answer to the question ends up being x squared plus 2x. Now go ahead and stop the video and try number 12 on your own. So on the top, I'm going to put negative 2x's. So you're going to color them in. Try to make sure that your x tiles are the same size. So I'm going to color them up because they're negative 2x's. And then off to the other side, I'm going to have an x. And I'm going to have minus 4. So I'm going to have 4 colored in 1's. And my product mat I didn't quite make big enough. So I'm going to extend that a little bit. And then draw your boundary. So my boundary is going to go from the bottom off to the side. So now this is the boundary. This is where my product is actually going to fit. And then I want you to draw lines in between all of your tiles, including the ones on the top and all of the ones on the bottom. Now, if you were really good at drawing your X tiles and your ones tiles pretty accurately, you're going to very easily see what tiles fit there, right? So if you look right here, when I put a tile in this spot, this is a positive X times a negative X. Well, that's going to give me a negative X squared. So in here, I'm going to have a negative X squared tile. So I'm going to color it in. Somehow my color changed. The other side, I'm going to do here, X times negative X is going to be another negative X. It's going to go like that. We're going to do that. Okay, now the next one, all of these are basically going to be the same, right? So it's X times negative 1 is positive X. Negative X times negative 1 is positive X. And it's the same over here. So all of these right here are going to be negative X's times negative 1s. So these are all just going to be rectangles, which if you did a really good job, you don't actually have to draw the tile in there because it looks like these are all X's. So when we go to do these, if you don't actually draw the tile in here, as long as these actually look like squares and these actually look like rectangles, you're going to be good. Okay? So the answer to this is negative 2x squared plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8x. So the correct answer is negative 2x squared plus 8x. All right, so now we're going to apply what we just did with a binomial times a binomial, right? So we've got two terms times two terms. So if I put the x plus 3 here and the x plus 4 here, then I'm creating 4 boxes. I have x times x here, which is going to give me an x squared. And then I'm going to do a 3 times x right here, which is going to give me 3x. And then the next row, this one is going to be x times 4, which is going to give me 4x. And then the last box is going to be the 4 times the 3, which is going to give us 12. So then if we look at the product, what we have is x squared, we have a positive 3x, we have a positive 4x, and we have a 12. So if I put all of that together, that's going to give me x squared plus 7x plus 12. So now if we do it with tiles, on the top I'm going to put an x plus 3. So I have an x tile, and I have 3 ones. And onto the side, I'm going to put an x plus 4. So I'm going to have an x tile and 4 positive 1s. And once you have that, you're going to draw your boundary. So I always start by trying to draw my rectangle. And then you draw lines in between all of the tiles. So it looks like this. And what you're doing is you're creating spaces for those tiles. And so now, once you're done with your lines, you should be able to see what size everything is. So if you look, this right here would be x times x, which is an x squared tile. So this would be my x squared tile. Right here, I've got 1 times x, and so this is an x, 1 times x again, so this is an x, 1 times x again, so this is an x. So all of this, x squared, x, x, x. And then on the side, the tiles here would go sideways. So I'm going to have an x times 1, well, that gives me an x. Another x times 1 gives me another x. X times 1 gives me another x. X times 1 gives me another x. So all of these are x tiles, but they're just sideways now. And then all of these ones, these are all our ones tiles, right? So if you think about this box right here, that would be 1 times 1. This one would be 1 times 1. All of these are my 1 times 1s, and there are 12 of them. So if you count this up, you end up getting an x squared, which is what I have here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 x's, which is what I have here. And 1, 2, 3, 4 by 3, this all right here, is going to be 12 ones. All right, so let's try another one. Let's do it first with the numbers. So this first box is x times, or negative x times x, which is going to be negative x squared. And then the next box is going to be 5 times x, which is 5x. And then the next box is negative x times 2, which is 2x. And then the next one is going to be 5 times 2, which is 10. So this answer would end up being negative x squared plus 5x plus 2x plus 10. And then the 5x and 2x combine because they're like terms, and you get negative x squared plus 7x plus 10. Now I'll get the same answer when I do it with tiles. So when I do it with tiles, I'm going to put negative x plus 5 on the top. And honestly, it doesn't matter if you put that on the top or if you put it on the side. I just like to be consistent and put my first one on the top. So I have negative x, and because it's negative, I'm going to shade it in, plus 5, so I have 5 little ones. And then off to the side, I'm going to have an x plus 2. So you got to really make sure that your x's are nice and long and your ones are kind of short. So make sure that they're little squares and then they're rectangles. So then you draw your boundary line, just like so, and then draw lines in between all of the little tiles. And then when you do that, you should be able to see where your x's will fit and where your ones will fit. And if you want to draw in the tiles, you can, but you do have to make sure you know which ones are negative. And if you look right here, since I'm doing a negative x times an x, this tile is going to be a negative x squared. So I have to shade this one in. So my answer is going to be negative x squared. This guy is my negative x squared. And then if you count, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 x's, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ones. And so that's your final answer. All right, now take a moment to try 15 and 16 on your own. Stop the video while you're doing it, and then tune back in for the answer. So here's the answer to number 15. This one's pretty straightforward because it's a monomial by a binomial, so pretty straightforward here. This one, however, I'm going to go ahead and just explain. So notice that all of these are negative. These all end up becoming negative ones, right? So this whole bottom half is negative. When you go to write your answer to this, you should simplify it, right? So remember, a positive x tile and a negative x tile, these guys will cancel each other out. So your final answer is you have here 2x squareds, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 5 x's, and negative 3 ones. So my answer is going to be 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. So now try 17 and 18. Stop the video, check back in, and make sure you have the right answer. And here's the answers for 17 and 18. For number 17, I got the negative 2x because I canceled out 2 negatives and these 2 positives because those cancel out, and that's how you're left with 2 negatives. Make sure you shaded everything in correctly. Number 18, everything is positive, and so there's the answer to that one. Go ahead now and try number 19 and 20. Again, stop the video and tune back in when you have the correct answer. And here are the answers to 19 and 20. This number 19 only is x squared minus 9 because these tiles, these 3 cancel out these 3 x tiles. All right, if you're at all confused, make sure you stop and ask for help. If you're doing good, then you should get some actual tiles and try this on your desk with actual tiles. So if you physically have the tiles, you can go ahead and do these 6 problems with the tiles on your desk. If you don't have tiles because you're at home, then you can go ahead and just draw them out on a separate piece of paper. And here are the answers to the rest of the problems. Double check to make sure you got them right, and as always, if you are struggling with any of this, be sure to speak up. Good luck!